in this topic, serverless function, Azure serverless function, I'm only talking on the basic level, or you can say beginners level. I hope you guys, if you know very well, I guess it is just for a refreshing topic. But if you guys are new in this topic, I guess there are some new an interesting topic to be talked about here. So without any time delay, I like to talk about what exactly server function is. As we already heard this word on a first hour session by our first speaker. He explained very well about Azure function, and then there is some word as a FAS, function as a service. So it is a hot topic, but I like to describe in a very simple way as I can make it. So basically, serverless function enable us to build, test, and deploy our code in a serverless environment as your functions. So we can think as it a serverless environment. So it provides a very uh, but what we can say as an environment, not so as a totally. So it's really a powerful platform. Servers Azure function provide a really powerful platform with many great capabilities. So we will talk more about on this as we go under. So what does really means by FAS? So FAS as a stands so function as a service. It is a platform for running functions, which are simply your code running in a responsive to an event. So we can talk about like it is a platform that this function which gives you platform for running your server side code with an event driven based. So we can go more on the topic. So what really you mean by serverless function or serverless architecture? So it is a very simple things to get grasp from beginning. So Azure function has a certain capability. So basically we can describe in a three main things that describe as a serverless architecture or serverless environment. First, it is a greatly speed up your development. What does I mean? That if the server are managed for you, that means you don't have to worry about your server side related physical server. So you have to only focus on your business logic and business value. So you don't need to install anything related to server, or you don't need to do any patch or need to set up any environment. So you simply provide your function code and platform. That means Azure function will make sure that your available server, and that means the Azure function will do rest of the work to execute your server side code, whichever the server it finds on the behind the scene. So second thing is dramatically reduce your cost. So it is about the billing model, which I guess you can understand about billing subscription level. So there is basically three types: consumption, which I will talk this about later in our demo. So basically, you can just pay what you are using. That is a short things to begin. So allow you to automatically scale to meet high demand. So suppose if you are deployed a certain service, and certainly there is a normal in an average there is 100 message request, but if certain or just like any function or any event, there is like millions of messages on the spot demand. The backend, the back auto Azure function will make sure that it will automatically scale in a response to a demand. So that's few things to get with serverless architecture, serverless environment. So we will talk a little bit more about trigger and binding, which is really a big things. So I will make quite short and sweet, so we can go ahead in a demo and we can discuss things on demo. So there are some popular things about trigger. So what exactly is a trigger? So trigger is an event driven programming model. So as we can understand, there is as you can see in the slide, some popular triggers are timer, message, and HTTP request. So timer is just run a function on a schedule, like in a midnight, in a every night, or in a certain week or weeks, certain day of the week. Moving on about messages, this is really a listing of messages on a queue. So what really I'm talking about, messaging is like listening. It listens for the message on a queue. So whenever messages appear in a particular queue, your function will get executed. So on the third topic, HTTP request, as we know few things about HTTP request, it will be triggered by HTTP request or REST API or any other API services. So there is many more triggers like Azure Blob Store creation, Cosmos DB, Neuro trigger, anything. So beside this trigger, it is very kind of tightly coupled with bindings. So every Azure function must have exactly one trigger, but you can also add additional bindings. So there are basically two kind of sub binding, like input binding, output binding. So it is already described over here. So brings data into a function. Whenever you try to bind some extra, if you need an extra input parameter, input data from certain event trigger, you can use like Bob Stores, Cosmos DB, which is a really big topic, which I don't want to get involved right now because of limited time, but it is a huge topic on this way. But output binding is kind of send data to an external service like SendGrid or queue. SendGrid is kind of sending the email messages, moving on, trigger, input and output binding are defined in a function.json file. So this function.json file we will talk about in a demo, where we will get a view on a trigger and then out binding things. So let's move on. Demo phase 1, creating serverless function in a portal and Visual Studio 2019. So I like to go to my screen, Visual Studio. So here I'm getting already prepared for this. So if you are in 2017, there is, I guess, you need to install an extension for function, Azure function. If you have 2019, I guess you know how to get with that. So whenever you create a project, make sure you get a filter with cloud and then C# anything. There is a function, Azure function project template for that. I want to get move on. Suppose if there is a function 101, and then I will make sure that is a default. So I'm just trying to. Sorry. I guess. First of all, I'd like to talk about in an Azure portal. That makes more easy if we do for that. So I will talk about Visual Studio later on. First of all, we like to talk about on our portal. So first of all, I will go and add a service. If let me know if you understand things, or should I have to slow? So I'm about to create a resource. Azure function. You can type anything. It will give you a. So first of all, you need to create a Azure function service. Azure function app, function app service. So let's create for that right now. So if you want to create a new resource group, it's fine, but I'm already create a new resource group. I want to just make an existing. I will make a function 101. It need to be, you need to, for the name of the function app, it will be part of your DNS address. So make sure it is a unique from globally. I mean, you can do same things like for the stack runtime, we will use latest version of the .NET Core, and I will make sure it is a nearby reason, and then hosting. So it will automatically create me a storage account. And then if you want to run operating system on a Linux or anything. So previously I talked about your billing related things. So there is basically 3 types. Consumption, which really means like there is a whole things described in a official Microsoft Azure account, website. You can see the description or credential, everything for premium. I guess for now I will stick on a consumption plan. So next thing, monitor. So if you guys are really interested in like deployment application inside, you can turn it on or off. For now, for this demo, I will make sure it is turned on, and for that, I will go and move on. For tag, if you are really creating a multiple service functions, function apps, you can make sure you can define with a tag. So I'm about to go and create.
So in the meantime, if you have any question related to the serverless function, do type on the QA panel.
Yeah, so it will take a few seconds, just a minute to deploy for that. But I guess if I'm being very fast, then I could slow down as you want. And sorry for my grammar. I'm not so perfect on his English. If you can't understand, make sure you just ping me right now so that I can speak slowly. So there is a deployment underway. At the beginning, I taught on Visual Studio 2019, but I just switched in a portal so that you guys can, for now, for this demo, later on, I can just can able to run this from a Visual Studio. So I want to skip. I would just want to make sure from the beginning it makes sense. So it will take just a few seconds now. So yeah, moving on to that next. So I will go back to my serverless. So yeah, I have basically created four types of services, like Azure Service Plan, which were consumption based, and then app service, application inside, and storage account. So for now, if I go back to here, I will describe a few things about serverless. So if you are just like you have created a service app, Azure function app, you can get a bunch of options to get configure your server side related. So this is a platform thing. So you can just go and customize as you require related to that. But for now, if you see everything over here, it is good now. So so I hear there is not so anything much. So for now, I will go and create a function. So this is a function app, and then I will go and make sure I will add a new function. So yeah, we talked about trigger before. I have given a little bit introduction about trigger. So you can find here lots of trigger template, or you can say anything, the trigger you want. So if you want to do a rapid requirement, if you have certain kind of requirement, or you need to make certain kind of service that runs on a midnight or something else, or HTTP trigger bus event or anything, there is a bunch of everything related to trigger scenario. So for now, I will make sure I have a HTTP trigger. So here is a few things, authorization level. So for that, for now, there is a function, anonymous, and admin. So function is kind of it gives you certain types of key to verify authenticate level. Anonymous, as you know, anyone can access, and admin, which define your username and password from the system. So yeah, for now, I'm about to do function, and I will gives you a certain things, a certain basic understanding about why I did select function. So yeah, for now, if you go and see get function URL, you will see that whatever I defined on the previous name, it's give me a URL for that. And as you can see, there is a code with this key. So this, whenever you make a request to any from any service or from any website or any way, you need to provide this authorization key for in order to execute this a function. So yeah, this is a default function key that you need to get. So I will tell you where to go and refresh or compromise if there is any key compromise, how to regenerate that. So here is a CS file, and make sure there is a run.cs file, csx file. So yeah, so this is a there is a static class with a method name static class, and then there is a returns type is a iaction result, same like a .NET method, any method. So there is a 2 parameter, HTTP request and ilogger. It makes sure that you will log as you want. So there is a this API, or you can say, or this method or service. As you can see, there is a request body. It will take value from your name request parameter, and it will convert. It will make sure that if there is if that name is success, it provide names. It will return okay object result, that is 200 status. So we can test for that for now. So if I go over here and I can see only method get and post, so how does that come? So there is that's where come from function function.json file. So as on a previous slide I told you about function.json file. So this will gives the total kind of control over your API or function. So yeah, this is a authorization level function, and then name require parameter as that, and then it will give a method like create and post, and then what kind of what type of service is that, and disable. If you make disable true, this will no longer will execute. So for now I'm about to do a test. So I'm about to go and do. So for now, Azure Nepal, if I go and hit run, sorry, I have to make sure. Yeah, it's about, yeah, it's running. So hello Azure Nepal. So as you can see, there is a status of 200, and it gives you a basic log information about that. But I want to move on to the why. If you have selected application inside, you will see this icon monitor. So it will gives you information related to what really happened. For now, this will take a certain time. It will take a 5-minute delay if you have any kind of log. So for now it is loading, but it will gives you information what really happening, what really happened during the trigger of this application, sorry, this API. So it's really taking a long time, but anyway, I want to go and describe a little few things. So as you can see in a function.json file, the things are already described here. It is just a reflection of that function.json file. So if you want to change the authorization level, you can go ahead and then change to NNS. If you want to do some input and output parameter binding, as I told you already, that we'll discuss few things about binding. So if you need to bind certain things like so really I like to what really I talked about, like this will help us to do like if you go and see the option, you will see that if you need to bind a certain during a certain service or certain things during this API service, you can go ahead and then select this option. So that is the main importance or basic things you can do. Gives you very reasonable to get caught your time, because you need to do from scratch. If you need to bind certain service, you have to go and ahead and do like coding. You have to request from the third-party service and get it, and then you need to do a lot of coding for that. Because of serverless, you can go ahead and just do like link up with this. So if you want to make certain kind of sorry well that is one reason that you will do that. So there is a certain things more about function state, which I already told about enable and disable there if you need to do anything. So yeah, there is a so I have created a little bit function for now, and I have shown you the file structure, how does it look. So let's get in a Visual Studio with lots of development we do. So yeah, I'm gonna go and create this project. For now I'm doing empty, and make sure if you have a storage emulator, it will give you information how to get started. So yeah, so go ahead and create that project. So it will take a few time to restore the package that needed for there. So as you can see, there is no any kind of function.json file here, just host and host.setting.json. So host is all about during the runtime, whenever the it will get hosted on a Azure function, it will take from this file. So you can define over here, and this is a local testing.json. Basically, this is a connection string from your storage Azure storage emulator. This is a connection string, and then if you have selected a language like Java, Python, or Node.js, JavaScript, it will be different from that. Yeah. So during the runtime, it will make sure that there is this execute .NET code. So yeah, for now I will go ahead and add new function, and then Azure function, and then I will go and make sure that is a default name. I will go and add. And for now, I will do anonymous type, and you can see the all bunch of triggers that I shown earlier in Azure Portal. So I will go ahead and create anonymous type, so authentication label. It will create a method with the same name over here. So here we can see that it is a different syntax from the previous we have seen in our portal. So it will define as a HTTP trigger, anonymous type, get and post, and route is defined as a null right now. So it is a default as we've seen before. For now, if I go and how to go and debug, if you want to make sure that I want to debug this code, I will go ahead and then for now I will run this. So if you are running first time, it will download some emulator tooling services and download certain few things from it is if this is the first time. It will take a few seconds now. So just like a previous question, what is the importance? So if you are really in a like a kind of you want to do a lot of stuff, integration with third-party service like a Chilo, SMS, or you want to define as a schedule some kind of service, you have to do like a lot of coding with any third-party service or any other. So this will make sure that you have everything up and ready so that you can do rapidly. So plus it is a serverless, that means it will gives in terms of pricing, it gives you best option to go and ahead and create. So far I have created one function, and it have given me a local host for that. So I go ahead and copy those and then paste that. So whenever I trigger that from the web browser, it go ahead and debug. So it will help you for debugging your business logic application. For now, it will return the response as we have already done. So we have not passed any kind of query string. So if I made Azure space, sorry. So if I go ahead and then it will retrieve the data from the string query parameter. Yeah, for that it is okay, but I want to do a certain kind of RESTful API. So in a RESTful style API, so I have few code which I will be copy pasting. So I have a model which I go ahead and create as fast as I can. So model, yeah, I have go ahead and create. Sorry, I haven't created that class. Yeah, so I will make sure that it stops. Okay, so I will make another file to do API. I will copy paste this. I will share this code with you at the end of this presentation slide. I will give you a link. So I will go ahead and to
Can you
do.
zoom out?
Oh, okay, sure. Just a
Yeah.
second.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is a RESTful API, which I RESTful style API. Okay, not exactly. So here I have made some changes, like for create to-do list, I have defined HTTP verb as post, and then defined a route as a to-do. So this will give you the URL API style URL, like API/to-do, and there is a simple in memory. There is no use of right now any kind of database. So over here I have given a link over here so that you can test in a Postman API. So I will run this, and yeah, so over here you can see it listed all. It has listed all the API that we have created. So it is given you the URL for that, for created. In order to test that, I have already made a to do so that you guys can do that. For example, I have copied this API, and then I will go ahead and create some. Okay, so this is my API. So in a response, it's taking a few seconds. Why? Good for now. Doesn't
Okay, so we will be wrapping our session. So Sagar, please highlight the main point,
yeah.
and we'll be wrapping the session of this one.
Okay, so there was a things to be shown a lot, but I'm sorry for that. We cannot make it right now. But there is a point for sorry. So yeah, my point is all about that. This our Azure function is help you to enhance the build and test cap deployment of your code on a serverless environment. So as we have defined already, serverless environment on a basically 3 topics. So it gives you the lot of time. It gives you the opportunity, or you can say the most of the time, to focus on your business application logic, not in a server side requirement. So you don't have to worry, you don't have to maintain your server, you don't have to maintain your provision, you don't have to get patch different environment to run your setting. And also it gives you the option to deploy in a container. So it is a very extendable what we have done in before application service. Yeah, so it is a function as a service, that only it matters your server side code, not as a server. That is the whole point, but we can elaborate more. But back to you. Yeah, just
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sagar. So it was a nice presentation over the serverless function.